Tonight on the candidates, let me see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe one's just with us there in front. We're limited, so we're going to give them 5 minutes each. Can you tell what you need to tell in 5 minutes? Got it? Someone's going to ask the question, so I said don't do so. In fact, a couple have mentioned to me they were going to ask a certain question, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it ahead of time. Now, if you want to ask some other question to that candidate, we'll have an open forum right at the end, and you can ask the question. But I'm going to ask it now, so you won't have to have them standing up asking the question. And it's a good question. I'd like to know, too, on the candidates, where you stand on same-sex marriage and where you stand on abortion demand. In other words, that's an issue which people are asking about. The reason it involves Christian principles. So, at least state where you stand tonight. You don't have to go into detail, but we'd like to hear it. And if you don't, somebody's going to stand up and ask you, so you